Okay, so I'm really curious to ask you. Look at the quality of your collaborations. We're talking like the breadth and the depth of collaboration as you're kicking off this year as compared to where it was last year. Like, do you have new strategic kinds of partnerships and collaborations that didn't exist, that you couldn't even have even imagined existing a year ago? Are these partnerships, aligned around like a shared purpose, common vision? Have you been able to break down silos, span boundaries in new and different ways? Because if you haven't, I really want to invite you to consider that this is a real missed opportunity. I'm thinking about this after a conversation I had with a woman recently who runs a small manufacturing facility. And she told me this beautiful story, around what became possible um, in the pandemic, where this factory pre-COVID had was really struggling actually around deep siloed thinking, functional silos. I mean, that had people so focused on like I do this and only this, and you do that. Don't step on my toes, and high turnover, low morale, real like saturation around efficiency and productivity and things like that. And that when the pandemic hit, they were unprepared and it stretched them so thin across every possible variable you can imagine. And they came so close to having to call it. And in that humbling experience, how people came together and started collaborating in new ways around this, shared purpose, a renewed sense of shared purpose around let's survive. Let's do whatever needs to happen, serve these clients so that we can have a place to come tomorrow. And that in that process, how people started collaborating really differently. It was like, what needs to get done and who can do it? And let's make it happen. And that community that formed along the way. But something, and that's the obvious benefits around that, but something unexpected that we reflected on together was when people started jumping in to roles and specific jobs that actually they didn't have experience in or even skills or competence in, that it created a whole new level of like challenging assumptions. So you had people that before had been so siloed, and now you've got somebody in there doing a specific job and saying, well, like, why is that protocol in place? Like, that doesn't seem to make sense. Whoa, that procedure seems like a real bottleneck in this process. Like, what's going on there? And so, this questioning of what maybe before had been deeply held assumptions now being questioned and just overturned in a commitment shared amongst everybody to just do what needs to be done in order to stay alive. And she shared, and this is what makes this story so beautiful, is that actually kicking off this year, it's like the trajectory for their business, it's like way higher than what it was pre-pandemic. And even they came this close to having to call it. And those other metrics, things like retention and just morale, it's like completely been turned on its head. And I'm thinking about this like, yeah, this is an opportunity, collaboration, collaborating in new, different, deeper, broader ways is such a powerful opportunity coming out of the crazy year that we had. And if you're not leveraging those, where are the opportunities to do so?